I'm standing outside this beautiful green apartment. Well, why green? We'll tell you in a while. But before that, let me first introduce you to Mr. Nilanjan. Hi Nilanjan, welcome to our show.
Hi.
Nilanjan is the principal architect for Design Consortium, and he believes on the principle of designing green and the fact that going green is the way forward.
Absolutely.
Well, Nilanjan, what is it that we're going to be discussing here today? Because when we talk about green homes, there are a lot of things that one needs to keep in mind, interiors and exteriors. So yes.
I'll give you brief tips on what all owners can do. Very simple tips that people can use to make their homes green.
Right.
Because you don't need to spend a lot of money. Just the right principles, positioning the windows correctly and using the right materials.
Great.
That's what I'd like
Let's
to
do that, because we have the expert himself who's now going to make you an expert. So we are finally inside this beautiful, beautiful house, and well, as you can see, we're at the terrace. Well, Nilanjan, I would want to know that, you know, when we talk about green homes, how important is it to sort of have a green terrace?
See, the terrace is one of the most important components because all the heat incident from the sun falls on the terrace.
Right.
So we start with insulation of the terrace. This terrace that you see here is totally insulated from inside. So there's a layer of insulation. On top of that, what we recommend in a green building is heat reflective tiles.
Right.
Mostly they'll be white in color,
Okay,
or any light colored tiles which are heat reflective.
So these which I see here right
Yes.
now, these are heat reflective
Heat
tiles.
reflective tiles.
Okay.
These are mosaic patterns, so it gives a bit of color as well. Sometimes we use broken ceramic tiles, as you have seen in the other project.
Right.
White tiles, it could be broken tiles. If they are coming out waste from the building, we use those. But mostly light colored tiles.
What are the other elements that we should be looking at?
We have surfaces which insulate. We have surfaces which cast a shadow on the terrace. So we put in walls on towards the west side, high walls,
Right.
where the setting sun, the afternoon sun does not fall on the terrace. So it
Right.
creates a shadow. Plus water bodies we create on the terrace.
Yes, in fact, I wanted to know, apart from the fact that they look really nice on your terrace, I mean, how important or how beneficial are they when we talk about green rooms?
See, it's very important to understand how we use the water.
Right.
Beyond the aesthetic qualities, we use water mainly to cool the surfaces. It's called evaporative cooling, something very similar to a water cooler. So we create shallow surfaces where we store the water, and most of the water has to be recycled. We are not
right.
using fresh tap water.
That's right.
Fortunately, it rained today, and as you
Yes.
can see, this particular pool, it filled up, and we are using the same water. So this is going to run for days. The terrace is also very important for putting up solar geysers. If you see, if you move
Yes,
back
I
a bit,
can-
maybe you
yes.
can see the solar water heater. In the other building, which was green one, we have even put in solar photovoltaic cells.
Right.
We are generating about 5 kilowatts of power just from the solar energy.
Right. How difficult is it for one to maintain them? You know, it is one to get them and have them, and it looks fancy and talk about it, but you know, when it comes to maintenance and using it, how...
It's not difficult to maintain at all. All you need is maybe once in a month, brush it a little bit so that the dust doesn't settle on that
Right.
photovoltaic cells, because it reduces the power to generate electricity. That's the only maintenance it requires. Otherwise, it's zero maintenance.
Right, so I think basically when we look at the surrounding here, it is not just about green planetation. We've covered the water body and the flooring, of course, and then the water geysers as well. Well, apart from the exterior, because you know, when we talk about a terrace or a balcony,
Right.
it becomes easy for us to sort of get the natural bits in.
Right.
But when we talk about the interiors, it
Yeah.
becomes a task in itself.
Yes.
So how does one go green with the interiors?
Well, there are lots of elements, the glazing, the flooring, the surfaces.
Right.
Why don't we move indoors and I can tell you about them.
Certainly. So, well, I can see, I think it's quite visible here that this definitely is a green room. There are a lot of elements that are present here.
And you can see the amount of natural light that comes into the bedroom.
Absolutely.
So this room in every way is green. All the elements that you need for a green home or a green room, you can find here.
Right.
The walls are made of insulated bricks. We have used fly ash bricks. We have used AAC concrete blocks, which are insulated in between, and you get them very easily today. The glazing that you see here, which lets in the light, it's very important to get natural daylighting so that we minimize the electricity consumption. So all the light comes in without letting the heat in.
Right.
So for that we are using insulated glass. So it's 2 layers of glass with a vacuum in between.
Right.
So that allows the light to come in but not the heat. The lighting is purely on LED.
Right.
We are using minimal air conditioning. It is only during the humid months of August and September probably you need AC. Otherwise this house can stay without air conditioning.
So basically you're using material for the wall which will sort of be less harmful.
When we design balconies, we try to see that it lets in a lot of light.
Right.
And we provide large overhangs so that the sun doesn't get in. So this is a balcony which has a long shade, so it lets in the light without the heat coming in. All the wood that you see in this house is also recycled.
Right.
All the doors are made of recycled wood. The railing is made of recycled wood. Even on the terrace, you saw these little planters.
Right.
We've used old pallets from
Absolutely.
containers and
Yes.
converted them into small planters.
So Nilanjan, you know, these are houses which have obviously aesthetically been built in such a way that they are green homes. You know, the designing has been done, the make, the products that have been used, they are all green. But what if somebody who is already living in a space which may not be green or all that green and wants to go green and convert their house to a green home? What is it that they have to keep in mind?
They should look at the lighting first, consumption. We have to reduce the energy consumption. So the first step is to convert all your fixtures to low consumption fixtures. So LED is the best way to go. The gadgets that we use, your refrigerators, your air conditioners, should all be rated, should all be 5-star rated products. Then even all the waste that we generate in a house conventionally can be recycled. All these plants that you see here are maintained by recycled water, and even the waste that is generated in the kitchen,
Right.
we are treating that waste, converting it into manure and reusing.
There is one more concern here, and the fact that, you know, green homes, they're not that reasonable. You have to shell out a lot of money for that. So what do you have to say to that? Probably that is one of the key reasons that a lot of people have not moved to green spaces.
See, a green home normally costs about 10 to maximum 15% more than a conventional building because of all these measures, because of the solar geysers, or which is incentivized right now, but even the solar panels on the roof. So those are the additional costs. Some of the recycling systems, the management systems, they cost a little bit, which is about 10%. But I feel the amount of saving that it does in the longer run, it pays back in about 5 years. And I think
right.
that's reason enough for everyone to go green.
Definitely. So if you're looking at the longer run, you should definitely go green, because going green most certainly begins at home.